So Winter Nights is a fragrance I've spoken quite a bit about on the channel since the launch in 2016. This fragrance is created by Josh Meyer along with the previous owner of this brand, Sam Rader. It's one of my favorite fragrances focusing on pine forest smell with smoke thrown in there. It's very wintry, cold, but there's some warmth in there as well. It's one of my favorite fragrances featuring this note, and as I said, I've featured it in many videos on the channel. But there's 3 fragrances in the collection of winter fragrances. This of course is Winter Nights. There is the original Winter, this one right here, and then there's also Winter Green, this one right here. So today I'm talking about Dasein, the House of Dasein, which closed up in 2020 and it was brought back recently, and I'm discussing the winter fragrances, the 3 winter fragrances, plus there's a chance to win a full bottle of each of the fragrances, one to a different subscriber of this channel from either the USA or Canada. So if you want to find out about these 3 winter fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about Dasein fragrances, Winter Nights, and also Winter Green. Big fan of the Winter Nights fragrance created by Josh Meyer, as I said, along with Sam Rader, who was the previous owner of the brand. Sam Rader also created the original Winter, and then Josh Meyer and Sam Rader worked on Winter Green as well. So these are 3 fragrances that I've known about, I've sampled before, and I really love Winter Nights and of course the original Winter. And Winter Green is growing on me as well, which I'm gonna let you know. And as I said, there is a giveaway on the 3 fragrances to a subscriber of this channel from the USA and Canada to 1 subscriber. So the first name that I draw will get the first fragrance in the collection, Winter. The second name that I draw will get Winter Nights, and the third person that I draw will get Winter Green. So when you're participating in the giveaway, you'll have to put down which fragrance you want. But either way, I'll let you know all about these before I do. If this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So how many of you has heard me talk about Winter Nights? Are you a fan of this one? So as I said, I discovered it in 2016 and I featured it and reviewed it in various videos throughout the years. But in 2020, was it 2020? Yeah, 2020 I received an email from Dasein and it said that they are closing up shop. Like they were closing, buy all the fragrances if you want as soon as possible because they're going to run out and things like that. But later on I found out that the brand has come back. It was bought by 2 very two ladies that are very into fragrances. So it's it's brought back, and the fragrances and their original recipes are still available for purchase now. And today I'm reviewing these 3 fragrances for you. And I do also want to mention that these 3 fragrances were sent to me, but I have in the past purchased both Winter Nights and of course Winter Green. I never purchased before. But I got to sample it at Twisted Lily back in 2019 before it went out of business as well. So let's talk about the first fragrance first, which is Winter. This came out in 2013. This is created by Sam Rader alone, whereas the other 2 are created along with Josh Meyer of Imaginary Authors. But before I get to the actual fragrances, I do want to say these are 50 ml bottles, Eau De Parfum concentration, $125 each, and I have a link in the info box. And as I said, stay till the end to find out how to participate to win a bottle of these fragrances. So 2013 launch for Winter. Winter features notes of blue spruce, black cardamom, forest pine, and French lavender. So to me, this one wears so beautifully on me. There's something very cozy and smooth about it. Calming comes to mind as well. For me, it smells of the pine forest, but it's so different than Winter Nights. Whereas this one has something more elegant and soft about it, and also something sweet and warm under there as well. It acts like it's daytime in the winter, where there's some warmth out there, there's some sun, but you can experience the chilly air, the cold air in the background. So there's this contrast of play of temperatures in here between warm and cold. So I think the reason that I'm getting something warm and vanillic under there is giving me this kind of like frosted, trees, but kind of like under the sun where it's warming up kind of an experience. But for me, this does act like a pine forest or a spruce forest, but there's some spices in there. The cardamom is very, very prominent here. The pine is definitely prominent here, but there's also this lavender. So there's no mention of vanillic notes or anything like that. Most likely there isn't, but I think what they're using in here, the ingredients they're using in here, is creating this kind of like warmth under there, some light sweetness under there to give it, just a little bit of warmth to the fragrance, whereas it doesn't act very chilly and cool and crisp like this one does. There is that whole contrast, as I said, with the play between the warm and then the cold together. It's such a smooth and cozy experience. This one just feels like chill in the air. You can see a big window you're sitting in front of. You can see the snow out there, but you're right next to a fire and actually sitting down, perhaps drinking some tea, some calming, soothing tea, watching some television or reading a book with some, smooth music in the background. This is actually really, really delicious. I absolutely, really, really love this one. It smells fantastic, and it's so different than Winter Nights, which, as I said, I've spoken a lot about, but today I'm talking about Winter first, and I highly, highly recommend it. If you like the idea of pine forest, pine tree, spruce, and some spices thrown in, some aromatics like lavender, you definitely need to get your nose on Winter for sure. So Winter is the first fragrance I'm talking about today. Moving on to Winter Nights. So 3 years after the launch of Winter, Winter Nights launched, and it was a collaboration between Josh Meyer and Sam Rader, the previous owner of Dasein. So this particular fragrance features notes of coastal forest, driftwood, bonfire, cardamom tea, lavender flowers, wild musk. Truly gorgeous. And as I said, I've spoken a lot about this one. To me, it feels like the cold of the night in a forest. Like there's pine trees everywhere. There's breezes out there. There's chill out there. Perhaps a little bit of some light marine or aquatic smells drifting in with the wind that's blowing, the chill in the air. So you've got that whole combination. But for me, this one doesn't get very, marine. So that's not very, very prominent. Of course, perhaps it is in the background. There is that fiery experience, that smoky experience in this one that I quite like. It's almost like you've taken the pine tree, the forest, whatever shrubs there are, and you're burning it, so you're smelling not only the air, the trees, everything in the fire together. It's absolutely wonderful. It does get spicy. It does get a little spicy, and then of course there's some light aromatics under there as well, like the lavender that's in here. So there's a little bit of that under there as well. But it's one of the best pine fragrances for me, especially one that's smoky, fiery, pine forest kind of a smell. So Winter Nights, I won't talk too much about it because you've heard me speak about it a lot, but I definitely recommend this one, especially if you like, those kind of fiery, smoky, pine forest, woody kind of fragrances. Winter Nights, that is the second fragrance and the second launch in this collection of winter fragrances from Dasein. So the next one, Winter Green, probably is the challenging one of this collection, but I've been giving it some time and testing it out on my skin, and it seems that you give it a little time, the mint that's up top does kind of like disappear, and it kind of blends with some of the other notes, and it creates kind of a floral, minty, citric kind of an experience. It's totally different than the other two. Totally different. With this one, this is a 2019 launch. Once again, Josh Meyer and Sam Rader. It features notes of wild mint, pink peppercorn, jasmine, sambac, evergreen needles, pomelo zest, beeswax. There's a little bit of a honeyed experience in here, but it's not too much for me. It does develop into it eventually in the dry down, but it's very minty up top, like major mint. And this is the more candied type of mint variety here. So for me, I kind of wanted a little more authentic mint that is chopped up experience. So once you get past that mintiness, it's very strong mint. It hits your nose right away. Then you're starting to experience some of the other notes that this develops into. Definitely there's some zing there with the pomelo, pomelo zest it says. So it's a little spicy, it's a little zingy with the citrus touch there. And then of course you've got some floral notes in here too. You do experience the jasmine. As soon as you kind of like take your nose off of the mint and kind of try and smell everything else that's on you, you definitely pick up the jasmine. And I like the combination of the dry down of the mint with the jasmine and the pomelo zest in here. Of course, it does have a little bit of a piney quality. It's definitely there, but for me, that mint is very overwhelming at the top. But as I said, once it fizzles away or fades away and blends together with everything, it leaves for a wonderful wearing experience. So I left this one till the end. Also, it's the last fragrance in the collection, but definitely check this one out as well, especially if you like minty fragrances. This is definitely a mint bomb. I would call this overly minty. So if you like minty fragrances, definitely check out Wintergreen in the collection. And that's the 3 different fragrances from this house. I'd like to find out from you guys, do you know about this house? Do you know about Winter Nights? Have you seen me or heard me speak about it? I speak about it a lot, especially during the winter, because it is definitely wintry. One other thing I should say before I move on to the giveaway, these definitely have a wintry experience, whereas sometimes I talk about fragrances where when it's cold outside, it's winter outside, you definitely want to wear the warmer fragrances. Some of them do have some warmth. I think winter does definitely have that warmth that I was talking about, where it was a contrast between warm and cold, how I get this kind of like frosted trees, but there's warmth under there, like it's kind of like sitting under the sun kind of experience. This to me I think is the warmest out of the entire collection, even though they're all focusing on very cold, chilly winter days kind of a thing. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these 3 fragrances. As I said, I have a link to the house and the fragrances in the info box. You can go check them out yourself. Let's move on to the giveaway. The giveaway will be 1 bottle of fragrance for 1 person, a subscriber of this channel. So the first name that comes up will receive the winter. The second name that comes up will receive Winter Nights. The third name that comes up will receive Wintergreen. But here's what I'm going to do. Depending on which fragrance you put down, if you put down you want Winter Nights and your name comes up, I'll have to move on to the next name. If you put down Winter and your name comes up first, you will get Winter, until I get the names correct, matching the correct fragrance, because I can't give 2 bottles of Winter because there's only 1 of each. Anyway, the instructions on how to participate for the giveaway, please put down what you liked about this video, which fragrance you want to win, or the one that sounds the best to you, and then also put down your state if you are in the USA, or country if you are in Canada. Of course, you're going to put down Canada. And as I said, good luck with the giveaway. Other than that, guys, let me know your thoughts on this house. Let me know if you've sampled any of the fragrances. Do you own any of them? Do you like them? What are your thoughts? Put a comment down so I can find out. Other than that, please do like this video. Please do share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.